Hebrews 8:13 states that the old covenant, including the 10 commandments, became obsolete when Christ died. Okay, then he goes on to say the law was fulfilled and replaced by a better covenant. That's Hebrews 8:6. All right, so what we're talking about today is, hey, we don't have to do that. We are in the new covenant. I have a confession to make. That is a statement that I probably said. Okay? And when I said that, I didn't even know what the new covenant was. I thought I did. Okay? Because I just made it up in my mind. All right? We just made it up in our minds that we are in the new covenant. Because Paul said something. All right. Well, the new covenant is Jeremiah 31, Ezekiel 36, or right here in Hebrews 8. Since this guy is in Hebrews 8, we'll just go ahead and stick to this letter, and we're going to talk about Hebrews 8. Before we get to Hebrews 8:6, there's Hebrews 8:1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are talking about the priesthood. And it's talking about the priesthood and the tabernacle and that thing. And then we get to Hebrews 8:6. Let's go check that out. Okay, so Hebrews 7, we're talking about the Melchizedek, the king of Salem. Okay, and that Yeshua is going to become the priest of the Melchizedek order. Okay, and that therefore, for such a holy priest became for us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens. Okay, and it just keeps going. These chapter breaks weren't in the scrolls. Okay, this was just one letter, and if it was Greek, it would just be a huge wall of Greek text with no punctuation or anything. Okay, so then it gets broken into chapters, and then it gets broken into verses. Okay, this was just one solid letter. So we come down here, and they keep on talking about the priestly order. He's the high priest ordained, and then we're going to talk about the tabernacle. Okay. Then we switch over here, and he says, "Thou make the things according to the pattern shown thee in the mount." Okay, and that's talking about the making the tabernacle. But now hath ordained a more excellent ministry, by how much also is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. Okay, a better covenant. See that small t? Okay, that small t notes that it is an addition to the text. Okay, if we look at the Greek, if we pull up Blue Letter Bible app or eSword or whatever program you could use, you'll go through and it will have, on one side, it will have the Greek. If we're in the Old Testament, on one side it would have the Hebrew, but this is New Testament, so on one side it has the Greek. The other side is tied into the King James Bible. Okay? You'll go and it'll say word for word, Greek and the English, Greek, English, Greek, English. Where it says covenant on the English side, it's blank on the Greek side. Okay? So, you could say it's the new covenant, or are they still talking about a better priesthood? Okay? Everything preceding that right there was priesthood. Okay? Jeremiah 8 warns us about the lying pen of the scribes. Okay? So you want to watch out for that, and they put this T in there just to let you know. Okay? Don't hang your hat completely on this. All right? Just, that little T means take this with a grain of salt. All right? That's somebody's interpretation. That's man's interpretation. Okay, what they're talking about. Okay, so But will a new covenant be better? Oh, yeah. If Yeshua is the high priest, that's way better, okay? Way better. So, now let's go on to verse 7, and then we'll go on to verse 8. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for a second. Okay, there was a covenant made that made the Levitical priesthood, that brought the Levitical priesthood into their jobs. That was a covenant. Okay, is it talking about that covenant, or is it talking about the holy covenant? Okay, you're going to bet your life on it. I don't know. Not me. Okay, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come. The days come that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. All right. At the beginning of this letter, at the beginning of the newsletter from the church, they said that the 10 Commandments were to Israel, it weren't to the Gentiles. Okay? So right here, this guy is claiming, the writer of the letter is claiming the new covenant, but we see that it's written to the house of Judah and to the house of Israel. But he's claiming to be a Gentile. Okay, so it wasn't written to you, buddy. If you don't know who you are, I have the video. One of the first videos I did on this series was, who are you? Okay, and if you don't know who you are, you're going to be lost. All right, so now let's go on to like verse 9. All right, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers the day I took them out of Egypt. Okay. But because he made it with them, with the kids, right? Remember that in Deuteronomy 5. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. After those days, okay? I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts. I will be their God, and they shall be me a people. So which is it? Are they made obsolete, or are they written on our minds or in our hearts? Okay. I just read it to you. In our minds and in our hearts is not made obsolete. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So do all know him? Not even close. Okay, that won't happen until after the great and terrible day of the Lord, the Lord's day. That doesn't happen until after tribulation, where the wheat is separated from the tares. The sheep are separated from the goats. Okay? Till he comes back and rules with a rod of iron. He won't be washing feet, people. He won't be washing feet. Okay? So there is another tenet that's not realized. Okay, so everybody is running around claiming that we are in the new covenant. Okay? Right here. Okay? Was the transfiguration the anointing of the priesthood? Possibly. Okay, that totally could be. Is it written on our hearts? It's written on some people's hearts. I'd say very few. Like maybe a remnant. A remnant. Okay? 8 people made it on the boat. 2 people made it over the Jordan. A remnant has it written on their hearts. Okay? Do we have to teach our brothers? Yes, we still have to teach our brothers. Okay, that's what this whole thing is about. That's the royal law. Is that a new term for you, royal law? There's a question. All right. If that's a new term for you, then we need to teach our brothers. Okay. Do we have a better mediator? 100%. So you can't really say that we are in the new covenant because only 2 of the 4 tenets of the new covenant are even close to being fulfilled. Okay, so let's go. All right, so here's that verse 13 in question. In that he saith, the new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which is decayeth old is ready to vanish away. Okay, ready to vanish away is future tense. Future tense language written in this book of Hebrews, which was after the resurrection. Okay, so after his death, it was written, the book of Hebrews, maybe 30 or 60 years afterwards. Okay, and now we're using future tense, ready to vanish away. Okay, in that day. All these future tense words to show us that this isn't fully in effect yet. Okay, let's go to the Last Supper. All right, here we are, the Last Supper. And he took the cup, and he gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it. For this is my blood, the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth the fruit of this vine, until the day I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. If you drink of the cup, then you accept that marriage. Okay? Then when the husband drinks the cup, he accepts that marriage. Not until he drinks of that cup are we in the new covenant. Okay? I said, oh, we're in the new covenant when I didn't even know what it meant. Okay? So all I was really believing in was platitudes, verses taken in and out of context without even knowing what's going on around them. Every time I give you, and I go to one of these verses, read the whole chapter. Read a little bit before and a little bit after. See how we just looked in Hebrews 7? To know what's going on in Hebrews 8, you start in Hebrews 7. Okay? Anyway, I love you guys. Open those Bibles. Let's. Anybody got any questions, you can shoot them to me, whatever. You can get on a daily Bible study with me where right now we are in Proverbs. I'd tell you to read the whole Bible from Genesis through, but we might not have that much time. Let's just get down to it.